Hello, everybody. Happy Thirsty Thursday. I'm glad you all can make it. I'm Spirit of 420 because everything I do is so 420, including having continued badass guests like the Flaming. I'm just teasing. He's the Burning Duck. Burning Duck, what's up, man?
What is quacking my good? Good to be here, man.
Good to have you on
back,
again.
man. I've been waiting.
Sorry it took so long, by the way.
Man. No, man. Hey, man, I had to wait my turn to come back again, man. So it's an honor to be back for a second time. Looking forward to the third already, my guy.
Oh yeah, you're gonna trust me. You're I just have a thing about me, and I'm not saying that everybody has to be this way, but when you're doing what we do, right, and trying to build something, no matter what you're building, I've already gone down the road where I built an empire and stepped on everybody and forgot every single person, and I lost it all. Mike, that was my drug dealing. You know what I mean? And that was the way I did it. I used you and abused you, and then I got rid of you. And the way that I do it now is every single person that's been a part of it, I try to remember. My memory is going to be my failure. If anything fails on me, it's going to be, I forgot you, man, and I didn't mean to. I got this 420 special going up, and I've tried to hit every single guest that's ever been on the show, and give them the opportunity. And I probably have forgotten one, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been on the other side of that as well, right? And like you said, you're trying to remember everybody, man, because everybody was important to you and still is important to you. But the book continues to get more and more thick, right? And sometimes you just have to bring that relationship back to the front of your cortex, so to speak, for you to remember. And then when it happens, you feel like a heel because you're like, man, I didn't want you to think it wasn't important, but geez, man.
I try to, especially friends that I make now, even if they're online friends or virtual friends, whatever you want to, call the friendships that we have, I try to tell them, like, look, man, I will always reply. I may not do it immediately, and I will always be there, even if I don't talk to you for 3, 6 months, a year. Just hit me up, and it'll be just like we were talking yesterday. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, for instance, let's talk Twitter for a minute, right? Please. A year and a half ago. All right, if you would have messaged me on Twitter a year and a half ago, I would have got back to you like in 30 seconds.
Right.
But so much has changed since then. There's so much evolution that's happened in my life and so much more things that I'm doing. I may not even check Twitter like maybe once or twice a day at times, right?
Right.
So it's not that I'm ignoring.
It's not the influence on your life that it used to be.
Exactly. It's just that, I'm all over the place now.
Yeah, there's Discord now.
Right. But I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I still have a love for Twitter Spaces, man. I love doing those. Especially if you have a real good lobby with you and people that like to interact, man, and a good time. But I'm definitely still, last conversation we had when I was here, I was talking about parlaying over into doing podcasts, and I'm definitely still looking into that, man. So that's something that hopefully on the horizon I will be doing before too much longer.
Please. And I'm one of the things that I'm doing through some what's the word? Oh, let me throw this up. I meant to put this up. Sorry, let's get your logo up there in the top. Bam, there's the duck. And then we'll also get this banner going down here. All right, there we go. Now look, that's a little more professional. What was I going to say? Shit.
That I'm an incredibly handsome man, and you can't.
Well, I mean that's the obvious. That's the obvious. Oh, it was something that was actually worthwhile of saying, and now I can't remember. That's a typical. See, so if I can't remember what I was thinking about 2 minutes ago, there's no way I can remember every person that I deal with. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, the perfect example of how scatterbrained I could be, you got to bear witness
today, right?
Today, right?
Tell everybody. Look, just tell that story real quick. I will shut up. I swear to God, but tell that story real quick because I thought it was hysterical. And then you tell your story and then I'll tap in.
For starters, I'm over on Telegram, right?
Right.
I'm in the Telegram with the guys from the Web3 marketing company that I'm in, Ignite Marketing.
Right.
And literally that's where I spend most of my time now because that's where we're talking business, planning business.
It's a great communication tool, absolutely.
Keeping everybody up to date, so on and so forth. And so I drop in there and I'm telling them, I'm like, hey guys, here in about 15, 20 minutes, I'm probably going to be offline for about an hour and a half, right? Like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then my my partner responds, he said, what time's that podcast? Aren't you on a podcast today? I said, yeah, man. I said, I'm getting ready to drop in there in like 15 minutes just to meet up and, make sure we got our levels right and yada, yada, yada. And bet, man, we'll be there. We'll be there. So, I go into my email and right at the top of the emails, I see, hey, you got an invite from 420. And I'm like, okay, man, this guy's on top of it. He's sending me another invite because he probably has an image of what my emails look like, right? And thanks that it got weird, which it did. And so I'm like, this is awesome, man. So I click on it, just hit join. I'm in there just talking to myself. I'm like, okay, checking the levels on my stuff. And I'm like, all right, man, this is good. And I'm like, man, he ain't gonna
like him
last minute before he starts his show. Then my buddy messaged me on Telegram and he's like, dude, is this thing starting soon? I'm like, yeah, man, I think it's starting real soon. And I said, I'm gonna message you. I messaged you and like 5 minutes went by and I still didn't hear back. And I'm like, oh shit, man.
Because I was just so you know, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh shit. Because I was doing other things and I was literally trying to, what I was doing, and you now know it was trying to get everything ready for next week's special. So,
well, when you didn't message me back immediately, that's when I was like, wait a minute, man, something's awry on my end. Because if this thing was getting ready to pop off, he'd have his phone right there with him. He'd be on top of everything. So I went back to the message that I looked at, and it said 4 p.m. 9 p.m. And I'm like, all right, man. He and I talked about how screwed up I am with time zones. So he's telling me that it's supposed to start at 4 my time, 9 his time. Then I was like, wait a minute, he's behind me. And I'm like, what's going on here, dude? And so finally you message back and you're like, what are you talking about, man? Look at the thing I fucking sent you, dude. And you sent me a screenshot of the original one, which had the correct time on it.
Had the correct time.
And I'm like, bro, I'm going to screenshot mine.
I know.
And I did. And it said fucking 4 o'clock. And I'm like, man, I'm in the Matrix, man. I
know. I thought that was hysterical. That's when I just stopped and I was like, all right, I'm just going to call this motherfucker. And it was funny because you were just dying laughing. And I think you had figured, I think by the time I actually called you, everything had dawned on you. So you just started pulling my chain. You're like, wait, aren't we supposed to be? So where are we supposed to be right now? Nowhere, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's when I went into total asshole mode. And I'm like, so wait a minute, you're starting at 5:30?
I know. You had me going there for a minute. You really did. You heard it because I was like, wait a minute, man. Now I'm getting stressed.
Yeah, because you're like, Duck, seriously, quit fucking around. Be straight with me.
That's what I know, because I was like, wait a minute. I have to know if you're fucking with me or if you're serious. I literally we had one of those like Key and Peele moments. You know what I mean? Like, are you being serious or do you absolutely not understand anything? Like, it was trust me, it was funny. I was delighted by it. But either way, you figured it out and you're here now and you're going to be here. I'm assuming you're going to at least try to stop in on 420.
Bro, I'm going to be there. Right now, I got to let this friggin' cat out. So give me 30 seconds.
No, go ahead, man. Do your thing. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to have a dab. So, as he's doing that, I will just go ahead and tell everybody. If you don't already know, 420 special is going to be on 420. It's going to start at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to go for 4 hours and 20 minutes. I will have a maximum of 9 guests, including myself, and guests will come and go already. The invite's already up to 22 people that I've sent the invite to. Not saying that they'll all make it, but people will come and go throughout the day.
Let's see. How do we send this invite, homie? Let me get all over that. Man. What am I missing? Dun, dun, dun.
Are you trying to send somebody the link to the show?
Yeah, just put the invite out there on Twitter or whatever, man.
4 hours later, that must be your buddy there. Damn. Yeah. It's 2:30 a.m. my time. Elo got me going.
See,
sorry, man.
That's my life, man. Doing math all day, trying to figure out, you know, when I talk to this person, what time is it in their world, right? And the people that I'm involved with in my company, they're all pretty much 5 hours ahead, right? One's in Ireland, one's in Scotland,
right.
another one's
They're
in
all Europe,
Denmark,
and
I think. I don't know.
Yep.
And so everybody's pretty much like 5 hours ahead. So me, for the most part, I'm usually a night owl, right? So I'll stay up working until 1, 2, and then I start.
That's
my
when they're waking up, though. When you're finally going to bed is when.
And that's the thing, right? So you know how you have to have that wind down time before you actually go to sleep, you know? So I have my wind down time, and then I look at the clock on the wall, and I'm like, all right, man, let's make this choice. I could hop in the Telegram right now, and they're probably like starting their day. So would it be more productive for me just to stay up and soldier through the beginning of this day so we can get as much as we can done,
Right.
or to sleep for 4 hours and then drop in at like 4 o'clock their time in the evening? So, but that's one of the cool things too about having a company with people all around the world in different time zones, right? Because one of the things we can do is basically 24-hour business, and nobody's on really that different of a time schedule than they normally are. So that's one of the interesting things about it.
No, I mean, that's the whole point that you know, and I can't remember if I said that before we went live or if I said it after we went live, but I mean that, you know, the world that we live in today is no longer even just a, you know, a national state. It's a global state, and you have to be, you really, if you're doing business, you have to be prepared for something. And what I mean by that is prepared for something all hours of the day. You know, so even if you don't have people, which you know, one of the things I help a lot of companies set up doing is just stupid little things like autoresponders, you know, so that if they send in a comment or something, right?
Absolutely. And if I look goofy right now, it's because I'm off screen. So I'm trying to get over here to Twitter and retweet this stuff real quick.
No, but you know, the whole point is, and I mean, I'm probably gonna have to start doing that kind of stuff, even with Spirit of 420, just setting up responders, be like, look, got your message. We'll get back to you within 24 hours. Best I can do.
Right. And, you know, I keep hating to harp on Twitter, but, you know, one thing you can do there is you can set a time frame for a tweet to go out, which I've definitely done more than once, especially if I'm in a spaces and what I'm talking about in that space, I want to pin to the top.
Right.
Then, you know, I will time a tweet so that it's released during the time that I'm doing the space. Then that way I just have to go back to my feed and pin it to the top.
Do you?
So it's little tricks that you learn after doing.
What do you do? You use a third party software?
No, it's actually within in Twitter you can do it. I don't know if it's because I'm paying for Twitter Blue. If that's one of those.
I have Blue too. So one thing I've noticed, dude, is it's really, you know, if we're gonna sit and talk about Twitter, we already talked about it before, and I don't mean to sound repetitive, but it's messed up, dude. It really is messed up. Like the features that were there, that were kind of like nothing is consistently the same for any two users right now. Just put it that way. People don't get notifications. I have people all the time constantly telling me, like, hitting me up in my DM. They're like, dude, it didn't even tell me that you tagged me. It didn't tell me that you commented on my thing, liked it, or retweeted. Nothing.
Right. Exactly. And I'm seeing that more and more, man. And it's
because they don't have enough people.
It's bizarre is what it is. It's bizarre. So
did I tell you the numbers that I read
in regards
about Twitter? In regard to Twitter, I don't know if it was you I was talking to, but this was not too long ago, and I looked it up. Since Elon Musk has taken over, Twitter has lost 80% of its workforce. Of what is left, the 1,300 that work at one of the top 10, if not at least top 50 websites in the world, right? 1,300 people. Only 550 of them are electrical engineers. software engineers of any kind. You know what I mean? Like any kind of, I mean, that like that, not even half of the people that work there anymore are capable of actually working on the site.
Man, that's bogus. Oh, I'm lagging, dude. I'm tripping.
Do you want to leave and just come back real quick? That might help. Like just pop right out and pop right in.
All right, yeah, I'll try that out. See what happens.
It should help. Trust me. Well, hey everybody. I'm just going to stand here and stare at the camera until Duck gets back. Maybe he'll be back by the end of this sentence. No. All right, well then I'll do another dab. That was 2. Go for a third. I told you it'd be a one-man smoke sesh while the Duck was here. He smokes cigarettes, but he does not smoke the ganja. And it's a good thing because he'll tell you. He's already feels scatterbrained as it is. He's like, could you imagine me if I was smoking? And I have to be quite frank. I don't know that he would have made it to the show. I'll tell him that when he gets back here so that it's not behind his back. And then I got some NFT questions for him. Because quite frankly, this guy is a wealth of crypto knowledge. Not just, I think probably more so specific to NFTs in the sense that that's where he is kind of specialized. There he is. Feel better? There we go. So I was just telling people that it was time to start asking you some questions about NFTs. I was picking on you because I said it was a one-man smoke sesh. And it's a good thing you don't smoke because you might not have even made it to the show today.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have made it to the show without question. I told you what happened on New Year's. It was my second trip and stumble on fucking being
Mary Jane.
Yeah, man. And geez, oh, Pete, man, forget about it. Forget about it. I mean, I think the situation would be totally different if, first of all, I even knew I was in the process of fucking trying to get high.
Right.
That
never helps. Let me just say the surprise high, because I've had a few of them, not from marijuana, but from other things that people like to lace you with. But there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than the surprise high because you don't immediately think someone has given me drugs.
Right. And, you know, I don't know. I guess that's what you get for fucking with a witch, right? I mean, here I was, thought I was being funny, and yeah, it backfired. Wicked bad, so.
I'm stomping my foot like a horse.
You're good. I'm back to lagging again, so I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I'm telling you, the Matrix is trying to get me. It's trying to get me.
Well, put a call out for Morpheus.
So I'm back now, though. I'm good. I'm aboard the Ebenezer, man. Let's
go. So, even though you're lagging, we can still hear you.
I've caught up, man, for somehow. I just picked up the pace a little bit. Maybe that's what it was. or maybe you're getting high enough now to slow us down just a moment. Maybe that could be it. I don't know, but you know, vibrating on the same frequency.
That one really got me. My nose is running.
Man.
Oh goodness.
I tell you what, I think yesterday I went to the friggin' doctor. Almost fully convinced I had COVID. I knew something was wrong. Couldn't taste, couldn't smell. Right. Fucking allergy season has hit big time here. The witch has gotten 2 new friggin' kittens that every night when we go to sleep are fucking sleeping on our faces pretty much.
And I'm still in your breath, man.
I'm allergic to cats, so that makes it even better. And so I'm hacking, coughing, sneezing, fucking eyes are itching. And I'm like, man, I got to go to the doc, man. I go to the doc and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have COVID. And they're like, let's do a COVID test. And, you know, negative. And we talked for a bit and they're like, yeah, man. I mean, it's just basically fucking sinus infection, bad allergies. And guess what? If you can't smell, you can't taste either, stupid. So that's probably why you can't taste anything. I'm like, well, we need to correct this, doc, because look at me. I'm a guy that likes to taste, man.
I like
mean,
to I like to taste what I eat, and I like to eat a lot.
Yeah, man. If I didn't, I'd be eating the sprigs and sprouts that the fucking witch grows all the time, man. She's into this micro growing of I don't know, man. Friggin' everything that and eating it right out as it sprouts because that's when it's supposed to have the most beneficial effects and all this stuff. And she's always making teas and tinctures and like, try this, try that. And I'm like, hey.
But now, correct me if I'm wrong. The witch does smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. See, so I think I've got some of it. You're because you don't do it, but you're around it. It's not like you don't ever smell it. So you probably have like a natural stoner memory already just from being with the witch for what 20 plus years. How long y'all been together?
Well, no, she and I've actually only been together for about 5 years now.
5 years, okay.
Yeah.
But still, dude, that's 5 years. Trust me, that's 5 years every day. You have a tolerance to eat. If you like, you just do because like you're taking in that secondhand smoke all the time, you know?
Exactly. And I mean, you know, not to sound corny or whatever, but we're usually never more than fucking 10 feet from one another. You know, it's just how it is, right? So
exactly. My wife and I just finally got time away because just a quick story, and then I want to ask you something about crypto. I really do want to talk a little bit about crypto while I have you here, for God's sakes.
I'll try to do my best to answer.
But no, Tuesday was her first day of her new job. And we thought about it like right after she went. And it wasn't just the first day of her new job. It was the first day she worked in 3 years because the shutdown happened March 6th of 2020. And her restaurant closed and she hasn't been working since. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was crazy, dude. All I'm going to say is it was totally crazy because you forget a lifestyle really quickly until all of a sudden it smacks you in the face again. And so in the same week that my wife went back to work, my mom went to KY to visit family. So guess who was at home with the pets and the little kids the last couple of, and dude, all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, fatherhood again. Because don't get me wrong, man, I raised the shit out of my first two. I was a single father, but then I got married and we've had that married life and I have been able to support her, particularly over the last 3 years, right? When during the pandemic, my job paid for us and everything worked out fine. So she was very happily a housewife, you know what I mean? Not unhappily, but all of a sudden all that shit was thrown on me. And then she comes home and she's worn out. I mean, the woman was on her feet for like 8 hours one day, 6.5 hours the next day, right? And forgot what that was like. And
right. I mean, it's a rude awakening, man.
It is. And it's a rude awakening too. When we thought about it, like, we haven't spent a day apart. That was the first, I mean, other than an hour or two or me going out, you know what I mean? Leaving or something. But I mean, we really had most of the time, if I go anywhere, she goes with me and she's always here. So that was like the first time that we had been apart in like 3 years. So
right.
it was,
right. The witch and I always say, man, you know, when you talk to people about when the pandemic really started and everybody being shut in together and people were like, oh my God, married couples are going crazy. They're having to spend time with each other.
right.
And we flourished, bro. It was like the best days of our life. We're like,
we actually had an awesome time, dude.
Going on forever, man.
We had a weekly date night that was obviously not going any fucking where, right? Because it was the band, but we made it cool. You know what I'm saying? We actually had I don't want to say we had a blast, but because I know so many people suffered and I really hate that. But the job that I was in was recession proof as well as pandemic proof, if you will, mine. Right. So at a time when a lot of people were struggling, quite frankly, we were doing okay. And now, while a lot of people are doing okay, I'm struggling. So it all comes back around. Let me say that, you know, it always comes back around.
Yeah. Like I said, it was sunny days for us, man. I mean, come on. I don't know how many personalities I have, but I had enough to keep us entertained during the process. And I think she picked up a couple during that time too. I think I told you some of the crazy stuff we did just to entertain ourselves through the process of it, man. It was a great time for us, man. And it's like just making the best out of a bad situation is what you got to do throughout all of life, man.
I'm sure you saw because I know my wife and I talked about it, but I'm sure you saw the number of divorces and split ups, how it went up during the like first year of the, it was stupid, man. Like all of a sudden people who had hardly ever spent time with each other for like the last 5 years due to like each opposing career, right? Whatever and whatnot. They're with each other all the time, every day, and their kids don't really like you anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, let's face it, right? I mean, let's visualize it, okay? You're in this marriage that you really can't stand that much, but you can tolerate, right?
Right. Because you get away every
day, right? Then you come home and you really don't have that much time to spend with them by the time you take your shower, do whatever, and then go to bed. In between there, you know, you might bicker or you might not bicker. You might find a place to go away and hide. You know, you may go fake a shit for an hour and a half, or, you know, you start finding TV programs where you're like, don't talk to me during my program. And you find these little pockets of places.
Sports Center's on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but now that all that's gone, you really have to decide if this is the person you want to be with, and you have to confront those realities that you've been hiding from in the small amount of time that you have together. So
the pandemic literally stripped away everybody's mask in their own inner circles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Within the inner circle, the mask was stripped away, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't know who I'd become, much less who you'd become. So,
right.
I will say, and again, you know, our situation was worthy because I was already working from home too. Now she wasn't working from home, but I've been working home for quite some time. So, you know, we were used to being around each other all the time if she wasn't at work. I don't know if that makes sense. So really, like, that's why one of the things that happened is, it was an easy transition. My kids were homeschooled, right? I work from home. My mom was home all day. My kids are home all day. I'm home all day. The only one that wasn't was my wife. So it really didn't do anything but help everybody.
I was going to say,
everybody had extra hand
to help in the house, man.
Yep. So when did you get into crypto? I'm going to dive right into it. When did you get into crypto? Because I know you got into crypto before you got into NFTs, simply because NFTs came after the onset of cryptocurrencies. So
yeah, it's usually the evolution of everyone. They get into cryptocurrency first and then start looking into NFTs, because NFTs are just so more complex than crypto, to be honest. Really what happened is, I think February of 2001, I think I had a real bad injury, right? And again, I was a union electrician at the time. I was working 10, 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. You know,
what part of the world, what part of the country we're in at that time?
At that time, I was here in Ohio, and that's really kind of one of the reasons we also ended up staying here is, you know, I got hurt, and it took, I couldn't walk for 3 to 4 months. I couldn't even walk. And then after that, it was a slow progression until, you know, I was able to just walk normal again.
Through therapy, I imagine a lot of it having to do physical, go to visit that. I fucking hated doing physical therapy, bro. I hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we all know, like, it's the thing you hate and you love. You're like, I know that this is going to get me where I want to be, but I hate having to get up and go do it right now.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, as you know, all that's a pain in the ass, man. But, so, you know, there I am sitting there, and literally sitting there, I was confined to a fucking recliner for a good month. And when I mean refined, I mean
like sitting in that. No, I know that. I know like that was probably best for you.
God bless my wife. I mean, I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. She had to bring my food to me. She friggin' sponge bathed me. I mean, that's when you find out who you're true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you really find out if someone has the love they say for you during a time like that.
Right. And you know, I struggled with a lot of stuff there too, right? Because when we met, she knew who I was. She saw what I did for a living, and we were used to that lifestyle. Right.
So just to be clear, just so everybody's paying attention, and that I'm on the same boat. This is not the witch. This is the last wife.
No, this is the witch.
Oh, this is the witch, because I thought you said 2001.
Yeah, and we're in 2003. We've been together 5 years.
Right. We're in 2023.
21.
I'm going to go ahead and just stop you here because you got the whole world confused. So in 2021, everybody, my non-stoned friend here. Okay, that's when this all happened. It was not 22 years ago. It was a little more than 2 years ago. I'm so glad I stopped you, dude, because you said.
Have I told you I'm horrible with dates yet?
I know, but I do. That's why I was like, wait a minute. It sounds like he's talking about the woman he's with now, but he said 2001. They only been together 5 years. I'm fucking paying attention, man.
I like to keep you on your toes, man.
All right. So now that we're all right, so
21,
February 2001, a little over 2 years ago.
Yes,
this all happened. Your beautiful witch wife.
Yep.
Was taking wonderful care of you, and you now know that she absolutely loves you. Please continue.
So I'm sitting there feeling sorry for myself in the chair, right? Because I did get temporary disability from the union,
right?
And which ran out very quickly. It ran out in a matter of like
never lasts long enough.
And yeah, I argued with him the whole time. I was like, it'd be great if temporary disability lasted as long as the disability.
Right.
I was getting another disability check off of a insurance plan that I had.
Dude, that's so fucking funny because I was about to say at least insurance will usually cover you for like 24 months, which up to 24 months on their disability riders. Is that what you had? Like a disability rider?
It was a year. It was a year.
Yeah, but well, it depends on what you get, but either way,
yeah. I mean, what I was getting was pennies on the dollar compared to what I was used to getting.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, you know. So we had to make a major life adjustment there. And so here I am staring at this very comfortable lump sum of money in my retirement from, where I've worked so long, right. But you can't touch any of that,
right?
You're not allowed to play with it. You're not allowed to take it out to help yourself or anything. So that was frustrating. So I told myself, I was like, I have to start doing something to provide an income while I'm sitting here. What's that going to be? And I was like, man, I really need to start looking into cryptocurrency. So
how did you first hear about it? Just like curiosity, how did you first hear about it? Did you just hear through the, do you even remember the first time that someone said something to you about cryptocurrency? Because I remember the first time I was introduced to it. I was just curious if you did.
It probably the exact same reason. It was the not so favorable girlfriend that I had for 7 years. It was a heroin addict, and her brother introduced her to basically, I guess I don't know if it was still the Silk Road back then, right, where you used Bitcoin, but maybe it was a spinoff of it. But I think it had to have been the Silk Road because I don't think anybody picked up after they got shut down.
Right.
And that was the first time I heard about Bitcoin. And I make jokes all the time when people talk about crypto pizza day, when the guy bought a pizza for like, I forget how many, like 10,000 Bitcoin or something outrageous, and how he wished he had that back and whatever.
Right.
And I laugh and I say, that's not shit, man. I wish I had the Bitcoin back that I spent on 8 balls of cocaine right. 10 years ago, If I had that and stowed it away, I'd be a billionaire right now. But but
everything happens for a reason, brother.
Right. And that's when I definitely wore a different man's clothes way back then. I was doing foolish things for a foolish person.
You were wearing my clothes. That's
I was just trying to salvage something that was unsalvageable, Right. And, but that was what it was. So that's the first time I heard about it. And then, prior to getting hurt, the December before that, when I was back home at Christmas talking to my kid, my son said he was talking about investing in it and I should look into it. And I was just like pretty much everybody else that's not in crypto now reacts, which is, why would I want to play with money that you can't put in your pocket? Right. And it just didn't make sense to me. And but when I got hurt and I had the time, I started researching it. And I've always been somebody that has this weird love affair with numbers and figures and statistics and things like that. Going back to COVID, when COVID was going on, dude.
Oh, I thought, you know what? I thought you said going back to Coke, but go ahead, go back to COVID.
Going back to COVID, when it started, right? My wife was in a bit of a small panic because, everybody's listening to the news. You think it's the end of the world and yada, yada, yada. And I told her, I was like, babe, relax. I'm like, let me look at the numbers. Let's look at the reality of it and not look what the media is feeding us and wanting us to believe.
By the way, reminder next time, like we just made it through 2012. That was only 8 years ago. This isn't it. Trust me.
No, man, we still got a bit to go.
Yep.
We still got a bit. And we could do a whole deep dive into my conspiracy theory behind COVID.
God, that's a rabbit
hole. It's not
hole.
a conspiracy theory. It's what everybody's going to find out eventually, and it's already finding out. But I digress.
I digress. We have to have that. What I will say this: we have to have that conversation off air first to make sure you and I are both cool with how crazy we're going to sound. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm totally cool with it. I'm totally cool with it. You know, but so I told her, I said, you know, let me start looking into the actual things that I could find, the figures, the facts, the real story of it. Let me do some research. And I started statistically figuring out how many new cases there was every day, what region it was in, this and that, what percentage of increase was there, what would the percentage of increase be over a week if it stayed tracking on that same amount. And even though it seems like big numbers, is it really actual big numbers in the grand scope on a global scale? Because, you know, they're trying to act like 1,000 people here is a big deal when we live in a world of a billion and billion and billion people. And
I want to come back to that.
But I really started to find out quickly that it was a farce. And, you know, I kept telling her, I'm like, we have nothing to worry about here. We have nothing to worry about. And then I talked to a buddy of mine who his sister, she's the head of a hospital and she's married to a brain surgeon. And I was talking to him about it. And I was like, so what's the doc say about all this? And he said, well, he told me, I know you've been looking forward for the thing that will be the end of the world, but this one isn't it, man. So you can put your guns up. So, so that was just kind of, you know, a little extra push to reiterate what I already knew. But back to cryptocurrency. So I have this love affair with statistics, and I really started tracking the statistics and yada, so on and so forth. And I made a small investment of like, I think it was originally $500 at the time. And then what I did is every time when I got that check, after I paid the bills and we had some left over, I'd put another 100, another 200 in it and let it go. And then I started looking past Bitcoin, you know, into smaller coins and finding out about launches of different tokens and things like this, and finding out how to do really the research on the company behind the token, the people behind the token, so to say. And you know,
and let me just say, for people that don't quite understand this, because part of this is supposed to be education, really what you're talking about here is the same research that anybody who trades in any other market does, even when you're talking about Forex, right? If you're talking about exchanging on the Forex, if you're talking about buying stocks or bonds of a company, you look and see what the global climate is. And in fact, more so in things like, to me, crypto, as well as like the exchange, because I'm sure you're aware of Forex, which is all just money exchange, right? Mm-hmm. So you absolutely look at what a country is going through in turmoil, or they're about to blow up in this particular material. You know, maybe they're about to become part of BRIC because they just found a new, you know, a new shit ton of whatever the fuck, you know, I can't think of one of those damn acronyms right now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so high, I can't think of what BRIC means. That's sad. But if, you know, you get any one of those and you know what you're going to do, you're going to have, you know, your country's going to be boom. Like,
yeah. And really, that's the neatest thing about crypto, because if you really are good at doing, I guess, investigative research, and you just don't stop at what you're going to see on the surface, but interpret what that means,
peel back the surface and really look
right. And you know, it's like watching the old or any movie, a detective movie, where they have the boards with the strings going everywhere. You know, trace those strings out, find out where they go, and then research where they go. If what they say is going to be happening over there, what's the validity behind that? Is it really going to happen?
Okay, I have to ask you. Have you done the wall? Have you done the spiderweb wall yourself, where you literally, I mean, come on, have you done it once in your life and been like, this is
I've never done it because,
but you've thought about it.
I tell you this much: if it would help me process, if I could process that way, I would definitely do it. Right. Yeah. But,
Keep going. Keep
I
going.
have
Sorry.
a way that I process things, and you know, it's basically the same thing, but just on paper. To be honest with you,
No, I get it. I
and
get it.
without
I don't
screens.
want to. I don't want to take. Keep going. Keep going. I could see you actually doing it, so I had to ask. Because if I don't ask these questions, by the way, then I'll fucking forget to ask later.
Yeah,
Go
definitely.
ahead.
I mean, I could definitely fall down that rabbit hole. But yeah, so that's really what I
If you
enjoyed
have
about it.
that mentality, that's where you are. If you have that mentality to do that kind
Yeah,
of deep dive,
that
then
that real investigative. I'm
right.
curious, you know. Another good thing about having that mentality is you also don't get caught up in everything that you're reading on the internet somewhere.
No,
You
you
know,
do it more like a debate in your head, and what I mean by that is like a great debate or a great documentary even explores both sides equally, and then
right?
you come to
Exactly.
a resolution.
Exactly. And you know, that's kind of one of the reasons I've had a little bit of success on Twitter, because there's always two sides of a token, right? Somebody who loves it and somebody who hates it.
Every time.
And I never disagreed with either one of them, right? So I kind of have I don't want to say respect, but more than anything, not disrespected by either side, because I never was rude and never said, "Hey, you're stupid. This is going to be great," or "Hey, you're stupid. This is going to be a total failure." I looked at it objectively from both sides,
Right.
but
I mean, you have
so
to if you're talking about, I mean, crypto again is like any other investment. If you're not looking at it objectively and you're allowing your bias to enter it at all, then you're gonna make a fucking bad decision.
right,
In my opinion, you know, I think any trader of the stock market, commodities, forex, or uh, cryptocurrency, you know, would tell you the same thing. Like if you make it, there's times when you go with a hunch. I'm not talking about not going on a hunch, right? I'm
right,
talking about you're biased because maybe somebody in the company that or the project you're looking at said something you didn't like, but that's not going to stop from this thing from blowing up. And you just, well, I don't want to be,
exactly,
you know, you get what I'm saying.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're a racist pig and the head of the company isn't a race that you like, well, I'm not going to invest in that because I'm a racist pig and doesn't like that
Yep,
person.
that's then
You know?
you're making a bad trading
Yeah,
decision on
not
based
only
on your
are you
bias.
not only are you a douchebag racist, you're horrible at making investments.
I wasn't even going to add that part, but it's absolutely yes. You know, I absolutely agree.
So, yeah, and I just kind of lucked on to a token that was just getting ready to drop.
Is this your first? Or what you talking about now? Is this your first token that you got? The first
Yeah,
one you
this
bought?
is what would be known as my first shitcoin purchase, right?
Gotcha.
So, your shit coins are your extremely low
Yeah, I
market
have
cap.
one right now that I paid just on a side note. I paid 150. I watched it get up as high as 280, and now I think it's worth negative 60. Just so,
Yeah, right.
but continue.
Yeah. Welcome to the game, my guy.
Right. I know that was my. I mean, dude, I knew like it's like buying a lottery ticket. If you think you're gonna buy the first time that you buy in, you're gonna hit like a story that you read in fucking Apple News. It ain't gonna happen like that. I mean, it's gonna happen for somebody, but if you think it's gonna happen to you, it definitely isn't because those are ridiculous odds. It's when
Yeah,
you
well,
don't absolutely think about it at all. It's always those guys. They're like, I wasn't even thinking. I just bought some shit. Next thing I know, I'm rich as
exactly.
fuck.
To me, it's kind of like being on a game show, right? You get on the game show and like, let's say right off the bat, you win $100 and they're like, I'm going to put this $100 in your hand, or we can spin this wheel again.
Yep.
And it might be $200. And you're like, I'll spin. Next thing you know, you got 200 and you're like, man, I could spin all day. Well, next thing you know, there's a spin and the bottom drops out.
Boom.
Nothing there. And you're
The
like,
price is
holy
wrong,
crap.
bitch.
Exactly. You Bob
Door
Barker.
number 3. I always loved remember Let's Make a Deal. Door number 3. Oh, you are fucked. I love the games where they straight enjoy, like, you know,
Oh yeah.
you could say what you
Just
want, but
bashing
Bob
morale of
loved as
the
much
person
as
that's
he
on
loved them
there.
winning, he loved them losing, man. He really
Yeah,
did.
exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. Go sit down, loser. You're stupid. But so I just happened upon a token that had just launched. There was a lot of hype around it. I started doing some research. There was some things that I really loved about it that they were talking about. Um, they pulled at some of my heartstrings, and I'm like, man, what you're talking about doing is something that is really close to my heart and I care about. So, man, you know, I need to get involved in this token. And I'd never invested in one of these type tokens before. And the process to purchase it was something that was way different than what I was used to.
I had to go through 15 steps, man. I had no idea. Like, I mean, you think it's just going to be getting a wallet. No, that's just the beginning.
Right, exactly. And doing that for the first time is scary as fuck.
I mean, really is, dude. It's why it took me so long. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I think you were one of the ones that I called up and got help from because I ended up winning some NFTs and getting gifted, you know, and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck. Do you remember me calling you?
You're like, they're there, but I don't see them. They said they see them. How do I look at them?
I don't even know how to see these damn things. Dude, I don't know if you remember, but I had panic in my voice. And one of the first things you said to me is like, just relax. I'm going to get you through it step by step. Like, all right.
All right. We're going to go down the road, man. Just relax.
What was funny is after you said that, I was thinking to myself, why am I getting so stressed about some shit that I didn't even have 20 fucking minutes ago? Like, you know what I mean? It's not like I paid for it. No offense. They were gifts or wins. You know what I mean? So
right.
And one of them,
we all want what's been given to us, man. We want to
open it up. I mean, I just wanted to see it.
We want to unwrap it. We want to get out of the box, play with it. You know, honk the horn on it. You know, we want to have a good time with it, man.
Take a drive.
Exactly. I want to see it now. I don't want to wait. But
that's human.
Yeah, man. So I was scared to pull the trigger in the beginning just due to the process. And I was afraid I was going to screw up the process. So I finally got up the courage to do it. Started with a very small amount to make sure that I did everything right. And it worked out. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just kept increasing. Went back to the Bitcoin that I had. I said, okay, it's time to cash you out, parlay over to this. I did that. And this token blew up. I mean,
the one that you parlayed over to, or the one that you just left? Okay.
The one I parlayed over to. And in all honesty, really, luck had more than anything to do with it. Right.
So right place, right time.
Yeah. It was just the one I put my focus on. And it just so happened that at that time they put enough money into marketing, yada, yada, yada.
Well, let me say this though. Don't sell yourself short, Duck, because guaranteed from the story you just told us, there's no way that you didn't have a good feeling based on all the research and diving that you had done. That's why you were looking at this token, right? So, I mean, and I'm just saying it because, dude, don't sell yourself short. So, you know, it wasn't really luck, because I just heard a man that said, I really don't do anything without researching. And so you had to look at this token.
Right. And the thing is, a million or so other people eventually agreed that it was a great investment too, because they ended up with, I think, somewhere around 1.4 million people that invested in it. So it ended up being a pretty good idea. And I was smart enough to as it was going up, I had a mathematical formula where at these different points I was going to take out this amount and this amount.
I knew you were going to say that. Not all of it, but just take out like a percentage each time it hits a different plateau, so that you just keep feeding off of it, but putting that money. And I'm assuming you were parlaying that into other tokens.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, I kind of do it just like going to a casino, right? When I go to a casino, I know exactly how much money I'm taking with me. If I lose all of that, I'm going
hedging your bet, baby. You're hedging your bet. I mean, that's all it is.
Right. But also at the same time, as soon as I double that, I take my original investment, put it back in my pocket, and then I play on their money. And then when I double that again, I continue that process until it's over. And that's kind of something's kind of similar to what I do with my crypto investments as well, but not totally,
right?
Because the difference between crypto and a casino is you can do research and get a better idea of what may be happening in the future. Then you have to make the decision on if you're going to let your balls hang out or not. And sometimes you get kicked in them, man. Sometimes it just happens.
It would be awesome is if at the top of every slot machine in Vegas, they showed you the winning percentage on that one, on that machine.
Exactly.
Right. That would, like, even if you had that much information in Vegas, which would be a ton, quite honestly, in my opinion.
Oh God.
Right. that would be like invaluable, especially if you see one that's like 20% of the time. You're like, what the fuck? That's a winner over there. But no, you know, seriously, even if you had that, that's not even close to the information and the research that you can do on a token or an NFT or whatever it is, you know, when you're talking about doing these type of exercises. So yeah, I get
definitely.
it.
But
that's cool.
So yeah, I got lucky, man, and you know,
you didn't get lucky. Stop taking. Don't give it all to luck, son of a bitch. I told you I didn't have you on the show because you were a lucky son of a bitch. It's not called the lucky duck. Can I get an amen from somebody? I got territory. Let me just say real quick. So by the way, you confused the shit out of Dam earlier when you were talking about 2001, because I know he was also thinking to me crypto wasn't even out then. I guarantee he had the same thought. Tara Toad's in the house. What's up, guy? What's up, Tara?
That bums. Oh, I'm in private chat. What a douchebag.
Oh, did you just go up to comments? You're fine.
I was in private chat.
Now you can say hello to him.
Man, we're so lonely, dude. We don't have anybody.
No, you're not. Appreciate the shout out, Tara. So here we are. You have had some luck combined, and I say some luck because there's never a guarantee. So the part of it that luck is that all the research you did paid off and it hit. When did you decide to move into the NFT realm?
Well, actually what happened is it's weird how it happened, right?
Do you still trade currencies, by the way? Are you still doing your crypto stuff too? Just doing NFTs as your main focus in the sense of your career, but you still have your crypto wallet where you still doing this stuff, right? When you get some take part. Okay. Still doing research. Got it.
Yeah. And really,
so you're going to tell me the next coin. We'll deal with that later. That's off subject.
Yeah. But really my main focus now is the Web3 marketing that I do. And basically what that has done is it's taken all of these different experiences I've had prior to that and packaged them into a nice package that I could use now. Basically is the best way to explain it. But we'll get back to that later. So how I got into the NFTs was I was doing a community program for this token, the one that I originally invested with. That's how I started doing Twitter Spaces, so on and so forth. And we had people that were sending us art constantly to use as a profile pic, to use as a advertisement or what have you. So we had all these artists sending us these great advertisements and everything. And so I get on a call with the guys that there was 3 of us that were kind of doing this Twitter space together. And I said, man, we really need to do something for these guys that are giving us all this stuff for free, you know?
Right.
And they were like, well, you know, we're putting it on, we're advertising for them. I'm like, no, man, I'm like, that's not good enough because, you know, I've always cared about people that are trying to, you know, just getting started and need help, need that push. And I was like, we need to do something for these people. And I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we get them come up with an idea of what we want them to give to us? In other words, like I had people give me different burning duck images and stuff like that. And then some people gave different images that were related to the token. And then what we could do is we could take those, we'll mint them into an NFT and sell them as a collection. And we'll take that money and we'll pay them from some of the profits of it. And then the rest of it, we'll donate it to a charitable cause. And it was like, man, this is a great idea. Let's do it. And that was my first experience of getting, HUD, what's going on, man? That was my first experience of getting wickedly stabbed in the back by people that I was working with because, you know, we put this whole thing together. We put together a doc folder that had all of the NFT art in it. And the next day, 2 days later, when we're almost ready to launch this whole thing, I go to that doc folder and it's totally gone. And so I call up the guy and I'm like, man, what's going on here? And they're playing really coy with me. And I could see through it right away, man. I'm like, cut the shit, bro. What's going on? And they're like, well, I'll get back to you in a day or two, man. Yada, 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 and rush off the phone. Well, it turns out basically behind the scenes, this guy and like 2 other guys that he had brought in, just went and talked to all the artists that I'd gathered and decided to go out and start this own NFT company and
With their
bring
art.
all these artists with them.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay. So that's
Undermined
how
you and signed them all behind you.
so it really what upset me more than anything is, you know, I felt that we were really trying to do a good thing for the community. And also, you know, I thought we were doing a good thing for the artists. But, you know, it was just a situation where the people with the money won that battle because one of the guys that was in there had a whole lot of money. And he was able to talk to the artist and basically give them upfront money to come over to this new NFT company that he created. And then obviously as an artist that's trying to make it, if you see somebody that's willing
Right.
to invest in you that way, you're going to do that. So I wasn't mad at the artist by any means, but what I've
No, but
always
it does, you know, let me just say this. It does reveal, because quite honestly, you know, and I'll use just the only example that came to my head right away, but Jerry Maguire, even Jerry Maguire, when he left, there was one motherfucker that left with him. You know what I mean? There was one, like, and you would like to think, no offense, man, but even as an artist, you would like to think, and I was actually having this conversation earlier today, and I'm sorry, but this one's a point that matters to me. But you would like to think as an artist that somebody would have said, no, man, this is ethically wrong. Why am I not dealing with Duck? Why isn't Duck not involved in this? And it's sad because it shows you, you know, the vast majority of people will unfortunately allow the dollar to rule their decisions, period. It's just the simple truth, you know. And I say this because I'm actually, you know me, Duck. I'm an optimist. But even the most optimistic person and the most stoic person has to also, I'm both of those, but I'm also a realist. Single individual people are great and can be wonderful, and some of them will never ever fuck you over, right? And they'll be true to you. The vast majority of the population, unfortunately, I don't even have to say it, dude. You're laughing because you know the truth.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. But you know, that was my awakening, right?
Yep.
That was my awakening.
That, I think we met shortly after, right? It wasn't too long after that we met, because you told me a brief summarization, which is why you were doing what you were doing with the military vet dudes. You know what I mean, at the time, anyway. And
yeah,
don't you remember it wasn't that long ago.
Like after that one.
Yep.
So,
yes. Military vet, I know, was after that, but you had given me, I didn't get the deep story like I did tonight, but you had given me like a summarized version of this. When, don't you remember that long talk that we had the first time we talked for like 2 hours?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
just making sure that was what it was. Because you were giving me a lot of education. So continue,
well,
please.
The thing that, you know, really upset me the most about that was I've always been the type of person that's like, you know, let's not do this for a quick hit to make what I call little money, right?
Right.
You know,
let's make the big money, the long term.
Let's actually build something. Let's actually work together and build something and continue to build on that, you know, and stack that. Because when you have a people of really good, great minds that have good creativity, and you know, like one person just simply says something off the cuff when you're making up ideas, and you're like, oh, you know, well, you know, let's do a pet rock NFT, and he says it as a joke, and another person is like, well, wait a minute, you know, we can tie that pet rock into this, and then the other person says, well, if we tie it into that, that can parlay over to this, and then next thing you know, you got a friggin' pet rock game that's turned, you know, it's gamified. People are getting on there playing a game. They're skipping the rock across the pond or what the frig ever, you know, and that's how ideas are birthed, you know.
That's why we call it brainstorming.
I love about it, right?
Yep.
And it's hard to find people that everybody says they want to do it in the beginning, but the weird thing is, once a little bit of money starts coming in, it all of a sudden starts changing the dynamics of it. You know, you got people over here that are like, well, I want to hold the money here and I want to hold the money here. And now there's arguments, and it's like, dude, let's just not argue. Let's just build, man. I mean, we can come to an agreement. It doesn't have to be an argument. It doesn't have to be petty. Let's just build. And that'll take care of itself. You know, my grandfather always told me, he said, Mikey, watch your pennies. The dollars will take care of themselves. And that's kind of how I approach things. You know, let's watch the small things. Let's watch the details. And when we do that, everything from there on forward is going to take care of itself. And another thing that I'm very passionate about is, if you make it about money, you'll never truly be successful with it. You have to make it about the people you're involved with. You have to make it about the people that are invested in you and showing them that you're giving back to them and you care about them. Because the truth is, a lot of people are relying on you. You know, when you do these projects, when you're doing these different things, they're putting their faith in you as an individual. They're not investing so much in the company. They're investing in the person that they know that is a representative of that company. And I really want to make sure that those people know that they can count on me in that process.
Yep.
Right. And I like giving back to charitable donations. As you know, I'm very big into the veteran cause. So, I mean, I've had this conversation with the people that I'm in with at Ignite right now, because we have a lot of really huge things behind closed doors that, if the stars align up, can be absolutely great. And I've told everybody that I've worked with, you know, I could not live in a $2 million home and then drive down the street and see a homeless person. I could not be comfortable with that. It wouldn't matter how much money that I was capable of making. I would have to continually help people. And my wife poked fun at me for a long time about that. She goes, I swear to God, I think your pockets are shown shut half the time, because, you know, if I have $1 and somebody asks for a buck, I'm giving them my last buck, you know, and
Can I
I'll
tell
find
you
a way to
something?
make it.
I just want to give you an idea. I'm not trying to gain any sympathy, but you know the situation I'm going through. Unemployment, not making enough. I'm literally, we're barely making it, but yet went, like the other day, there was a vet. I only had $1. That's all I had that day, but there's a vet sitting there with his dog and his woman, you know, and I give to people all the time, you know, even when I can't afford to, because that's what here's the thing, man. I'm still here. I'm still okay. I still have food. I still have all the things that I need, even though it, you know, every day is kind of a guessing game, if you will. I'm still somehow making it. And that's because what goes around comes around as well.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I have a roof over my head, bro. I could hit a switch and a light comes on, you know?
Yep. And I don't want to say it this way. I want to say it like, I don't do things to help people so that I get it back, but I'm just saying, I know that I've gotten to the point where I know no matter how bad it gets, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to make it, you know? So that's why and now I give, because it's just, I've tried to tell people, man, you know, you really don't understand the joy that comes from giving and seeing somebody else enjoy that gift, because it's just not even close to, you know,
bro, it could come in, it could turn into a feeling that's so good you start to feel selfish about how good it is.
yes, exactly. I've actually had that the last few Christmases, because I did a lot of stuff for homeless kids and gifts, and I was like, I feel bad for feeling so good for doing this. You know what I mean? Exactly. I literally did. I was like,
so much joy out of this that I shouldn't feel this.
I get it.
But yeah, man, it's great. It's great. So
it really, you know, it's funny, but this is not a new concept. We're not talking about anything that's brand new. Fucking Dickens, you know, A Christmas Carol was the first one to really put it, if you will, into a story of understand what can happen if you open your heart to giving and loving and caring about people, rather than only caring for yourself and for money.
Absolutely. And I see you, HUD. Man, bro, can we go? Man, I definitely want to. I gotta go away. I gotta go with this topic that HUD just said, man. I know we're on a path. Hopefully we have enough time. I want to come back to it, but
please,
I just feel in my heart that this needs to be said, right? If you really want to be successful, right? What is successful? To me, here's what success is, right? First thing you have to do is search your soul and find out what you're truly passionate about. What do you really love? What really means something to you? And once you find out what that is, open yourself up and allow yourself to find that path and travel that path. And when you do it with no expectations other than knowing that you're going to go down there with joy in your heart, happiness to everyone that you meet. Try to be as kind as you can and try and be a beacon of light into the darkness of everyone's life, no matter what happens. And you also have to understand that there are going to be setbacks, right? Let's talk about the conversation we just had. Okay. A lot of people would say, man, that fucking sucked that happened to you. No, dude, looking back, I can't tell you how much I celebrate that happened, because when I look back on it, I realized that, you know, there was a lot of things that I was holding on to at that time that I felt were very important. But going through that situation really helped me clarify what was important and what wasn't important. And it gave me the opportunity to fully let go of those things that I was holding on to because I wasn't totally decided on. But when that happened, when those guys took that entire group of artists that I'd brought in and this whole idea that I created, and they shifted it over and took it from me, and I was like, man, poor me. I stopped. And I'm like, no, Mike, what's the lesson in here? What do you need to learn? Back away for a second, look at it, and find the lesson in here, and find why this happened, because the reality of it is it's helping you continue on the path that you need to be on, that you wouldn't have seen if this didn't happen to you. So you have to celebrate even what seems to be dark times and trust that those are happening, because it's leading you to where you need to go, that you're keeping yourself from going, because you'll swim upstream sometimes just to be stubborn.
No, oh, sorry. I thought you were done. You don't ever give me a breath, dude. I love you, but you're a fucking, you got to let me get a word in edgewise, but that's okay. Keep going. Because, you know, this is what I talk about every day. I talk about the balance. That's the biggest thing I talk about every fucking day.
You know, and I continually say, you know, your vibe will attract your tribe. And the more that you are your true, authentic self, in other words, you stop letting the people around you influence who you think you ought to be.
Did you read my tweets today? Did you read? I literally did. I did two of them that are literally on this subject matter.
We're on the same. We've always been on the same frequency.
I know. I love you.
But you know, so many people, and they don't know they're doing it right.
Right.
They're living a life.
They're changing.
Yeah, they're living how they think their friends see them and being what they think they need to be for the people around them. And they truly don't even know who they are or what they really love and are passionate about.
You know, the side note to that, and I didn't have enough. You only have so much if you want the tweet to all be seen, right? So, in the simplest of terms, if you change yourself, there's multiple things that happen. Number one, the people that you attract are not the people that are good for you. They're people that are ultimately going to oppose who you are. Right. Number two, it is more work. It is high maintenance. You have to go into a shell or a mask or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You go into this place to be this person when you're around them. Because then if you're around people that knew you before you did your changes, which there's always people like that, you go back to being them, or you can't completely go back to it. And that's when those friends are like, dude, you're changing. Right. And so I'm just saying, like, it's high maintenance. You attract the wrong people. You attract the exact opposite. That's why I say it's literally people that will ultimately oppose things you want and things that you stand for.
Well, you can't have energy vampires in your life, man. And that's what those people are.
Yep.
They're sucking the energy out of you.
Didn't you? What was that show? What the fuck was that had the, remember that show that had the energy vampire?
No.
Oh my God. I think it's that stupid, I'm going to find it and show it to you, dude, because there's literally a show, and I think it's the TV version of the vampire documentary movie, What We Do in the Shadows. Have you ever heard of that movie?
Negative.
No. Okay. Well, you got to see that. You would laugh, but there's a show, and I swear to God, I think one of the vampires in it is it's either an energy or emotion vampire. Like, so whenever he's around, just sucks all. You're just like, he doesn't suck your blood. He just sucks all you. But yeah, energy vampires are horrible. I 100% agree. I think that's why these comedians literally made it up because we all know they exist. The ones that they come around and all
absolutely.
they do is tell you how bad their day is, how bad life is, how bad everything is. And next thing you know, you're like, man, if I had a gun right now, I would either shoot myself or you. One of us has got to go because this is just horrible.
Right. And, you know, when you get put in those situations, right? And when you get put in things that from the outside look like real tragedies or what have you, it's also a perfect time to do a checks and balances of what's really and who really is important in your life.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
the people that are truly important and truly support you and truly have your back, they're going to be there with you through it.
Yep.
You know, I've had quite a few situations in my life where you're at this bottom of the pit by yourself and you're looking around for all the people that were like, bro, I got your back no matter what, man.
Yep.
And you're looking for them and none of them are there. And it forces you to, you have no choice but to go inside and do a checks and balances of who you are and how strong you are and what you're capable of overcoming and you know, what the lesson this was. So
have you ever noticed that many times those times they happen? I got to keep this heated because I don't want to stop talking. So I don't know if you ever noticed, but it's at these big times of loss that you also end up losing friends, because what happens when you lose, what happens when you experience loss, right? Whether it's bad, good, whatever the hell loss that it's always bad. But when you experience loss, you end up losing friends that say they'll be there for you forever, because that's the exact time that person would bail. They're not a real friend, and it shows you
now they have to do fucking work, bro.
Right. They have to keep their word.
Now they have to actually put emotion into the relationship. And you know, let's not be petty about this, right? Because sometimes guys get together and talk and shit, and they don't want to talk about emotions, and they don't want to talk about, you know, having an emotional relationship with another male because, oh my God, you know, that puts us a
God
view
forbid
on me
a
as
man
a man
means something to me
and stuff like that, man. The real strength is in anything is being able to make yourself vulnerable to the people around you, right? If you really care about somebody, you have to be slightly vulnerable to them, and you have to be able to put yourself out there and show them that they mean something to you. And you know, sometimes people think I'm goofy, man, because I mean, even today, when
you're Donald. I don't know if you're Donald. Just you need to.
Hey, fucko there, fucking calling me goofy there. Let me fucking tell you something. All right, man. Let's get this.
Oh, now you're gonna do. You just went back to '90s with jerky. The jerky.
You fucking listen to me, okay? So, but you know, when I text you today, right? I was like, man, looking forward to it. Yada yada yada. Love you, bro. Right. And you know, some of the guys I work with, man, they're going through something, and you know, they're like, they'll put something out. They're like, man, I'm just going through this. Need a little bit. I'll come back to you. I'll hit them in a side DM and be like, man, listen, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you, bro. I love you. If you need anything, reach out to me. Because, you know, I've told the buddy that I'm working with, he and I've become pretty real good friends. And I've told him, I'm like, it doesn't matter if this becomes the greatest thing around or if it crumbles and burns. If we can't be friends and we can't have a relationship where we care about each other, then I don't want to be a part of this. Because to me, to be in a successful business, that business almost has to be a family. You have to really have a care and concern for the people that you're working with every day. You have to be mindful of the time that they're sacrificing to be a part of that away from their family. And, you know, I tell my guys, all the guys that I work with all the time, I'm like, you know, hey, tell your wife I said thank you. Right. Yep. Tell her I said thank you for you being able to have this time. And they're like, no, man, they know.
What did I say to you when we got off the phone today? Do you remember? Do you remember my words when we were getting off the phone? I was like,
bro, I couldn't even remember what time zone we were in.
Okay, well, I'll just repeat it. I was like, all right, I want you and the wife to go have a good time, and I'll see you later. Like that. To me, it's you know, family is part of it. And I want to touch on something too, because, you know, to me, it's funny because a business to be successful is a monetary measure. Okay. That you cannot deny that. right?
Oh yeah,
If you're
without
not
question.
right, that's what a business is meant to do. So part of its success there is monetary measure. However, to me, success in life is not based on monetary. It will happen if you gain true success in life, then the money will come to you and you'll be taken care of. And what I mean by that is it's funny because both of them to work, you really have to treat them the same way, but on just simply different levels because the end measure is slightly different, right?
I'm going to teach you my cheat code for figuring out if you're successful in life or not. Okay. And I learned this back in my days of being a pastor, back in my day of giving eulogies, back in my day of visiting people on their deathbeds in friggin' hospitals and
I meant to
talking
tell all y'all, I forgot this is an ex-pastor. I always forget to tell people that before you. But
yeah,
it
well,
matters. It matters, dude. It's a whole nother life. Like,
yeah,
and it gives you an idea of where you come from. You and I'm a preacher. I've never done it for a profession. You actually preached for a fucking living. So do it.
yeah,
Say it.
for a little stint, man. But what I learned, at least this is to me, right? Who is going to say the last words about you at your funeral? You don't get to say that. You don't get to tell those people that are there who you were. Okay.
Right.
Because we all have a mental mindset of who we are and what's important to us and what we feel is successful. Right. Let's say maybe just for instance, just for the fuck all, this company is really my determining factor of if I'm successful or not. And I don't spend any time with my wife. My kid wants to come and visit me from Florida. And I'm like, nah, fuck off. I ain't got time. I'm building this thing. It's going great. We got a big deal. I got to have it. Go fuck yourself. This is all that matters. We'll catch up later. Right. And we build this great empire and it's worth trillions of dollars and it's known around the world. Right. And then I die. I don't get to be the one that says, man, he was the most successful businessman at this or that or that. No, the pastor turns to the family and he says, tell me some words about him. So I know what to say when I go up here, because the pastor, he may know him. He may have been in the congregation, but there's a lot of people there in the congregation. Right.
Yep.
But they want to know what the family thought of him. So the pastor's asking the husband, the wife, the children, brother, sister, what was he to you? What were they to you? And that's where your last words are spoken. Your memory is spoken by how you affected the people around you, not by what you built, not what you created, but what they felt. And I don't want to be the guy that has $1 trillion business. And when the pastor asked my son, tell me about your father, and he says, I don't know what to tell you.
He was never
there. Maybe you could say he worked, because that's all I know him from.
I've seen those kids, by the way, Mike, and I know you have too, that's all they say. They're like, I didn't know my dad. I know he was a great businessman, but I didn't really know him.
Right. And I can tell you another thing, by being the guy that's asked those questions, it's very easy to tell the ones that are just saying something because they think it's what they are supposed to say.
Right. The programmed response versus from the heart.
Yeah. When they really don't have an honest answer, they're saying programmed things that they feel are the right things to say. It's so easy to tell. I mean, wicked easy to tell.
Oh yeah.
And that's when your heart breaks a little bit, because like I said, anytime I talked to somebody in a hospital that was in the process of, they knew that it was, because when the family calls and asks the pastor to come see them, that's, there's not going to be a whole lot of time left, and they do too. And, I've said it many, many times. Nobody says, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I would have if I could have just had a bigger house, I would have been so much happier. Everybody says, if I had more time with the people I loved, I would have been a happier person. So having this knowledge, right? Why not learn from what everyone I've spoken to said is the most valuable thing, and try and make sure that's the most valuable thing to me. And I'm not great at it. I'm not the best at it.
We're not supposed to be perfect.
Try and remember that. Right. So
Yeah, but we're not supposed to be perfect, Mike. Part of what makes us incredible, and I'm talking about each and every one of us, right, is the fact that we're not perfect. And the ones that, in my opinion, excel and have success in life are the ones that truly learn from their imperfections. And they, even though they're never going to change them all, because that's just not going to happen, I don't care who you are, if you're constantly trying to better yourself, then you're making it, you're doing it. And I, like you, see, I firmly believe that life success has nothing to do, you already heard me say it, it doesn't have to do. I know right now, if I died today, I had a successful life because
Amen.
my kids know that I love them. I have raised all of them. I have been with them, and the pain would be there, but all the people in my life, and even some of my friends, who have gotten to know me, recently, would know that I cared about them.
I don't want anyone that could possibly get a phone call finding out that I'd passed to question. I wonder how he felt about me, right? I don't want anybody
Yep.
to ever wonder that, right? So anybody that shows up at my funeral, I want them to be able to say, "Well, man, I knew where we stood. He was a pretty good guy, whatever, but just not there to be any question." And that's why if I have a problem with somebody or somebody, I don't have a problem confronting them because I care enough about that relationship to find out if I'm misunderstanding something or if there really is an issue here that needs to be worked out. Because don't let that tumor continue to grow, because eventually it's going to
It
get
will
so
fester.
big that you may not be able to fix it. But
it will. It's a guarantee that it will always fester. What you end up deciding, or what you end up encountering, is how much damage will it do? How far will I let it go before I actually finally fix it? Obviously, the longer you go, the more damage is done. I just want to point out a couple of quick comments here. So, growth doesn't happen within comfort. That's a great one, HUD. I love it. I hope you subscribe. Princess Buttercup, always in returning. That's what is it? That's what it is. It's an energy vampire by boring the shit out of you. Yep. Am I doing that? Sorry, Princess. I know you're bored.
I ramble on.
Yeah, we killed her. And this one's from Dam. We created a business and found a family.
That's my guy, D. Yeah, man.
I know that's your guy. That's why I'm telling you. So
He's a hell of a guy. HUD's my guy too, man.
HUD's your guy too. I hope both of you subscribe. I really do, because the same things I'm talking about now with this fucking crazy jackass are the same things I talk about at just about every show, except usually I do have a lot of tokers on with me. But it's okay. He loves all of us tokers. I mean, he married one.
That's right, man.
It's not like you belittle it. You constantly are pro cannabis. So
I know without question I wasn't put on this earth to be in charge of judging everybody on what they do. That's not my job.
I'm only judging me.
That's not my job, right? So, and plus, I could look out through my life and things that I've done, and I've made many mistakes that I don't have the right to judge anybody. And really,
amen.
If we all could set that where just pay attention to your own backyard, man. Don't worry so much about your neighbors, right? That's not your responsibility. That's their responsibility. Just
if they got the bag in the tree, then just let it the fuck go. The bag can stay there for a year. You don't have to judge them for it. It's fine.
Yeah, man. And my parents are hilarious, man. They fucking shit like that eats them up. They look around at their neighbors and they're that typical couple. They're like, you see those people two houses down? They didn't cut their grass since last Wednesday. My dad, man, he's cross cutting, he's trimming, man. I mean, it's perfect, and God bless him for it, man. That's his personality. That's what makes him happy, man. But the people around me, man, I just look at the people. I just smile, and I'm like, I'm not so much caught up in all that other stuff. I'm more concerned with the relationship that I could build with the people around me than how they look, how they dress, what race they are, what background they come from, all of that stuff, man. We're all from the same race, man. We're all human beings. And God, for the love of fuck, just realize, man, that if you took the time to get to know people, you're not as different as you think you are, man. You're really not. You're
no,
really quite the friggin' same. There may be language barriers and all that other stuff, man, but when you take the time to work through those, man, we're all the same people, man. And I've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to live with very, very many different cultures and help me understand that, bro, we all just want to be accepted and have a good time and enjoy the people around us and know that we can trust the people around us and feel safe, man. I mean, it's pretty simple.
No, it is. And the one thing that you said we're all the same. There's a couple things I want to say. Number one, when you break it down, I've said it, I wish that there was something. And of course, this would take the cooperation of 8 billion people. So that's not going to happen.
Right.
But if there was something where you could fill out a form of all those things that separate us, and what I mean by that is the things that they put out there in the media, that they put out there in the news, that they put out there in TV shows, movies, and just about everywhere that divide you, right? But if you look at these things that divide us, it might be one thing that divides you, but it's the one thing you're saying I can't be friends with you for, even though 99.99% of the rest of you, the two of you are in tune, right? On that same note, what makes us all so incredibly special is that even out of 8 billion, no two charts would be the exact same. No two people are gonna lie. I don't care how in tune two people think they are. There's gonna be something that they don't see eye to eye on, and it should fucking be okay. I have been friends my whole life. I have been friends my whole life. Let me you shut the fuck up for a minute, you talking son of a bitch. I have been friends my whole life with Republicans, different cultures. I don't even consider myself a Democrat anymore after the atrocities, and that's as far as I'll go. But I don't let any of that stuff. I'm literally have an ad that I'm about to put out that I'm trying to put together a team, and I'm not plugging it. I'm just saying it's funny because you list off all those things, and I'm like, I'm looking for anybody over the age of 21 simply because we deal with cannabis, and that is you need to be 21, right? Period. But after that, any age, any race, any political background, any religious background, or non-religious background for that matter, or any fucking life. I don't care. I want the most diverse group of people I can find that only care about one thing, and that is that the world needs to laugh a little bit more and take it a little bit less serious, which is exactly the point you're saying too. But we take it all so damn serious, and we take that one little thing that you and I disagree with, and all of a sudden that's a killer of even having a friendship. And I find that to me, that's not the spirit of 420. That's not what cannabis in itself is all about. And here I am sitting with someone who doesn't even smoke, but share. So it's not even necessarily cannabis doesn't have to be the time factor. I'm just saying, to me, that's the spirit of smoking weed, is that it doesn't matter who you're with. You're smoking a joint and having a conversation. Period.
Right. And people tend to focus more on the differences that they have than looking for the things that they have.
Yeah, right. Rather than searching for the reasons I can like you, I want to search for the reasons of shit. I already have 3 right there. I don't like you, you gray-haired son of a bitch.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. And it's that easy for some people, right?
Oh yeah,
it's
it is
really that easy for some people.
Oh, dude.
And
haters.
Here's the sad thing, and again, this is just my personal opinion of it. It really comes back to lack of being comfortable with who you are, because I feel once you're fully comfortable with your true self, right?
And nobody bothers you.
My wife and I, right? We have had this ongoing, I don't know what even to call it anymore. It's turned into almost a joke between us, right? Here I am married to the woman that used to be one of the most sought after hairdressers in the city that we're in. When we moved here, she told me, she said, look, I love you to death, but I want you to know I'm leaving all my clientele behind me. And she made mad money as a hairdresser, wicked mad money. And she goes, when I get there, I am not going to go through the process of building a clientele again. She goes, I'm putting my shears up. I'm putting everything up. I'm done. And I said, babe, not a problem. Let's go. You don't have to worry about it. Unbeknownst to me, she meant like totally. Meaning she ain't gonna cut my hair either, right?
You had to find a hairdresser, even though you married one.
So we're going through this battle, right? My hair's getting long, and this has been going on for years now, man. This fun little game we play with each other, and I'm like, "Am I gonna get my hair cut or what here, babe?" And she's like, "I told you I'm not cutting your hair." She's like, "I'm done cutting hair." I'm like, "That's fine. I'll cut my own hair." And she's like, "Go ahead, cut your hair. That's fine." So, I'm trying her, right? So it gets long. One time I shave my head all the way down. I don't care. Shave my head. One time I shave half my head and leave the other half there. And I keep trying to find things that is going to aggravate her so much to be
that
seen
she'll cut your hair
in public that she's going to be like, when I'm like, "Babe, you want to cut my hair?" She's like, "Fuck it. Absolutely. Cause I don't want to see what you're going to do if you don't." I am on full on Albert Einstein. It's what we call my Albert Einstein mode, right?
Eventually I just don't know though, man. Cause like if she's a witch, she's okay. Like she's gonna let you go straight up freaky Albert, like Bob Ross. She won't mind. I get you're gonna have to do something crazy, like maybe have a
mind. It's that she actually loves it.
Do a checkerboard.
Loves it.
Do a checkerboard. Do that. See if that gets her. You know what I mean?
But the crazier my hair gets, the more she loves it. She's like, "I love it." She's like, I just. And the funny thing is, I'm so comfortable with who I am and in my skin. I tell everybody we live on a college campus. I can go half a block and we're staring at the college. The streets are filled with these college students, right? That are so concerned about everything and everything else and how they look and what everybody thinks of them and so on and so forth. Bro, I go out there straight Albert Einstein like this, and I'm just looking around and I'm like, here I am, man. And we're laughing and joking and having a good time, man. And, to me, if I'm a kid looking at us, I'm like, that's the couple I want to be when I get old. They don't care about anything else except the good time that they're having together.
The confidence shines.
That's how our life is, man. I mean, it's just, we love just going out, doing simple things. We find joy in everywhere we look because
there's a difference. Go ahead.
And it's funny that HUD's in here because HUD's he's gone back to he owns a tile company, right? And he put this picture up the other day of a tile floor that he'd done, but he hadn't put the grout in it or whatever, but it was at such an angle that it almost looked like rocks or whatever. And I forget the comment that he made, but it was a really cool picture, man. And I responded to him and I said, beauty is everywhere if you have the eye to look for it. And it truly is, man. I mean, I could take any person on the face of the earth if you line them up in front of me, and I could point out so many beautiful things about that person in front of me. And I could take also people that think they're the absolutely most beautiful thing and show you so many wretched and ugly things about them as well, because beauty truly does shine from the inside out. It really does.
There is a difference between having confidence and being cocky and egotistical, and what's funny is the ones with confidence, anybody who has confidence, it's people are going to make fun of me, but I'm bi, and I can 99% of the time
you're bi. You're leaving.
Yeah, I'm pansexual technically, okay, but because of that, I can literally feel the energy of other people many times who are of that same nature. But in that same sense, oh my God, what was I just saying? Because I lost my train of thought. Damn it, Doug.
You're saying that you're bi and it's difficult to talk.
Yeah, but that's no. Stop trying to joke. Actually, what was I saying before I said I'm bi? Come on, man. What was I saying?
You were saying that we were talking. Well, okay, let's go back. So maybe we could figure it out. I was talking about how beauty shines from the inside out.
Yep. Cockiness and confidence. That's what I was trying to say. So, someone who has true confidence, not cockiness, can feel someone else who has confidence, and I mean, it's like you shine. To me, someone with confidence is like a newly pregnant woman, and what I mean by that is, they glow well before the belly bump happens and all that. The moment, like there is a glow that happens with women the moment that they become pregnant, you know, and that confidence glows with other people who are confident the same way that cockiness glows. And what's funny is somebody to me, like you said, somebody who is extremely cocky and egotistical, it's funny how many things I see in them. I'm like, man, you're missing it. You're missing so much because you're so full of yourself. There's a difference between being full of yourself and loving yourself. And by the way, to me, that's where it all starts. The only way you have confidence, you touched on it. I wanted to say it earlier, but as long as you love yourself and you're 100% okay with yourself, everything else will fall into place. You will be able to love somebody else. Somebody will love you. Somebody will be attracted to you. Like if it hasn't already happened, learn to love yourself because it will happen.
So here's my next attempt. I am going to continue to
I like
put
that.
my hair in different like this so that eventually I could have her sons watch this video, and then I'm going to try and get the help of her sons to get their mom to cut my hair. And
you know, she's going to see the video.
While you were letting your husband go on YouTube looking like a clown. She'll
watch it. She'll watch it and be like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to let it get worse.
She's the one that brought me the rubber bands, dude. She doesn't even care. It's crazy. And you can see how much I'm friggin' sweating in the shirt, too. I don't care about that either.
All right. Well, listen, we've almost been on for an hour and 40. I love you, brother, but I'm going to go ahead unless you have any other words of wisdom that you want to end with real quick.
Man, just chase what you love, man, because that's really the only way it's the only way you're going to be happy, man. And don't let people around you dictate who you're supposed to be. Just be who you feel you are in your heart, and your vibe's going to attract your tribe, man. It's going to surround you with the people that accept you for your crazy and laugh at you, and you can laugh at them, and you can love on each other, and you're just going to be happy because nobody's judging you, and they see the real you, and they're okay with that. And that's true happiness, man. Being able to surround yourself with people that just let you be you and still love you for it. So that's all I got, man.
No, and I'm going to tap onto it because I don't know if you saw this tweet the other day that I put out there, but it's like, if they don't see you, they're not supposed to. The ones that are supposed to see you will, and they will be in your life, and they will show it with their actions, their true colors. The true colors, man, they always shine, and they show you. I'm a big actions speak louder than words kind of guy, and to me, the things that you're saying just fall right in line with that. Somebody who
there was going to be a Cyndi Lauper duet when you said true colors. I really did. I thought we were going to start breaking one out, man.
True, dude. I every time I say it, like, it's funny that she did that song. It was inevitable that someone would. So that's why, it's amazing it hadn't already been done. But it is a reality. I'll say something just because you brought her up. It's clearly obvious that Cyndi was hurt and ridiculed before she became Cyndi Lauper that we all know and love. It's in her music. It's in her. You know what I mean?
All I gotta say is just be you, and if people don't like it, fuck them and feed them beans.
Nice. That's it.
I'm the duck.
I'm going to end it right there. That's perfect. Hey, Duck, I love you. Will you stay backstage for just a minute while I close out the show?
Absolutely. Love you too, brother.
All right, man. See you in just a minute. Thank you so much again. And of course, you'll be on again. But thank you so much for tonight and the conversation. As always, loved it. I like it. I'll see you in just a minute. All right. So just real quick, all I want to say is it is better to have smoked weed and coughed than to never have toked weed at all. So with that, just remember this. Each and every one of you are extremely special. I can go on and on about that. That's why I end every show with this. What makes you so special is the fact that there is only one you and not another one just like you. That in and of itself makes you incredibly special. Don't believe all this hype that you're nothing and just one of the numbers. You're not. You're somebody special. You're important, and you're part of this incredible puzzle we call life. So remember that. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed evening. See you guys on Saturday. Oops, I should probably get over here. See you guys on Saturday. Peace.
I switch here, I'm a strange fuck. Consist on ain't something I could say well. Throw my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day a swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.